travel in their own backyard, that some of those people in the tourism sector could find themselves out of the sector because the business isn't going to be there and the business will collapse.
Well, that's already happening. And the longer this goes on, of course, the more businesses are at risk. This is the high season. You have to remember, summer is the high season for tourism. And so the longer people are out of business or they can't reopen their business because either there's not the demand or they just can't do it, they don't have the liquidity to stay in business, then you're going to see a lot of businesses disappearing. And we've already lost in March and April about 900,000 jobs in the tourism sector. This sector is, it supports 1.8 million Canadian jobs. And that's almost half of those jobs that already disappeared in a couple of months. So it's a very, very precarious situation, and it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed with dialogue between the industry, the federal and provincial government for a coordinated approach.
In a word or two, what would your advice be to Canadians who aren't sure what to do?
I would say you need to get informed and do a little bit of research and find out what the measures are in place to keep you safe, because the measures are there. The industry is taking your safety and your health very seriously. But do your homework, certainly, before you leave, and I think that will probably help give you a better sense of security as you decide to go out and explore.
Charlotte, thank you.
Thank you.
Charlotte Bell, President and CEO of the Tourism Industry Association of Canada. What are your plans for the summer? It's here, almost. And yes, we've been in lockdown for a long time. Maybe you are stir crazy and you need to get out. Are you traveling this summer? Why or why not? You can let us know through the website, cbc.ca/thecurrent. Find us on Facebook or Twitter. We're at @thecurrentcbc. And if you're part of that tourism industry and you're facing that existential crisis that we heard about, how are you coping with that, with tourists not coming to your bed and breakfast, perhaps, or your restaurant? Let us know, cbc.ca/thecurrent, and click the contact link. In 90 seconds, have we begun to lose interest in COVID precautions? This has dragged on for a long time, and there is something called alarm fatigue that is beginning to set in. Maybe you aren't using the hand sanitizer as much, or putting on the mask as much. We'll talk about that coming up. I'm Matt Galloway. This is The Current. Stay with us.
With a CBC News update. Police are investigating shooting last night in Kitchener. They say a 55-year-old man from Mississauga suffered a gunshot wound. The injury is serious but non-life-threatening. Police responded to reports of a shooting in the Deer Ridge Drive in King Street East area of the city just before 10 last night. Waterloo Regional Police say a black Mercedes was seen leaving the area. They say it was seen driving on King Street East toward the 401. Guelph Lake and Elora Gorge conservation areas won't be open this weekend. The GRCA says there were too many visitors at the parks last weekend who didn't follow the rules. Helen Jowett is a regional councillor in Cambridge and the chair of the GRCA board. She says she understands people want to get outdoors, but she says people also need to take responsibility.
If you're going to a park and there's too many people, try and find another park. If everybody's reasonable about social distancing, we don't have a problem. If everybody's reasonable about picking up their garbage, we don't have a problem. It's just about really thinking about your own self-awareness and how you're impacting others.
The weather forecast for Waterloo Region and Wellington County, a mix of sun and cloud this afternoon, the high 21. Cloudy tonight with a low 11. Sunny tomorrow, the high 17. More news at the top of the hour. For news anytime, download the CBC News app. I'm Joe Pavia.
Hi, I'm Matt Galloway. You're listening to The Current. Most of Canada has started to move towards second or third stages of reopening. But as things reopen, will people keep up with public health guidelines? A psychological phenomenon known as alarm or caution fatigue could be causing people to let their guards down. Toronto's Rosalind Krieger says she knows that feeling well.
For the first 6 weeks, I was a diligent hand washer. No exaggeration. I was washing my hands like you're supposed to, at least 8 to 10 times a day. Now, I maybe wash my hands the way you're supposed to, maybe 1 to 2 times a day. And sometimes I honestly forget entirely. I think it's just the fatigue. I was committed to it the first 6 weeks, but mentally exhausted.
That sense of exhaustion is familiar to many people across this country, even doctors on the front lines. Dr. Andrew Petrosoniak is an emergency physician at St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto. Jacqueline Gollin is a psychologist at Northwestern University Medical School. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
Jacqueline, what is caution fatigue?
Caution fatigue occurs when people show low motivation or they have low mental or physical energy to comply with the safety guidelines because they feel tired of being cautious or fearful. They may become impatient with safety precautions, or they don't believe that precautions are real or relevant, and as a result, they may de-emphasize the actual risks when they don't take the precautions. So they may end up outweighing the risk of the situation for their health benefits to pursue connection or normal routine, and they become less attentive or motivated to take those precautions like washing hands or social distancing.
You could imagine a lot of people listening were nodding along with what Rosalind Krieger was saying about hand washing. How common do you think this is?
I think it's very common. It is sort of part of our general response, generally when we're adapting to stress. So I think it's quite common.
Doctor, you wrote a thread on Twitter about this. You called it alarm fatigue. Where does that term come from?
Yeah, that term is very similar to what Jacqueline outlined, and basically borders on the same themes that when we get alarms and hear the same thing every day or see the same type of alarm over time, we become desensitized to what that alarm is supposed to indicate. And so we see that in medicine where alarms go off for blood pressures that are too low or oxygen saturations that are too low. And if that keeps happening, we, as clinicians, become desensitized to that, meaning we don't respond and we don't have that same reaction that we should, and then go attend to whatever needs to happen.
How concerned, you talked about this in the Twitter thread, how concerned are you about Canadians falling into this pattern?
Well, I mean, I think it's inevitable. So I don't know that it's a matter of concern or not. I think that this is a predictable pattern, and so rather than, I think we just accept that this is likely, and then we start to design aspects of our lives to overcome that, so that we don't have to, so that we are very clear with what needs to be alarmed and what doesn't.
I think, again, anecdotally, there are a lot of us who are agreeing that, the things we did 3 months ago, we aren't doing as much anymore, whether it's, pumping the hand sanitizer on or making sure that you're, cleaning the doorknob or the railing in the house because you've been up and down it a few different times. What are you seeing in the hospital? Are you seeing this sort of fatigue play out in your workplace?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. So, I mean, I wear a face shield and a mask and gloves for all interactions with all patients. But so what's happened is that's become a habit for me. So I've been able to. That's just how I work now, and so do my colleagues. But admittedly, I'll certainly walk into a room and I'm less cautious than I was 3 months ago with the risk. I perceive the risk to be higher. I may not put on the gown every time unless I'm having that patient interaction. And so I'm more likely to pull down my face mask or things like that. So for sure, this is something that affects. I'm certainly not immune to it.
And you realize that as you're doing it, you understand that this is what's happening as you're not putting the gown on, perhaps?
Yeah, it's interesting whether it's a subconscious effect or something that Jack alluded to. It's just this chronic stress we're under. We may briefly consider it, but then it's just too overwhelming to keep being on this, in the fight or flight state.
Jacqueline, what's going on, not to analyze Andrew, but what's going on in his brain or ours when we're doing this?
Numerous things. Andrew's got a fantastic brain, I'm sure. The point here is that we adjust to the information to reduce our stress. We feel that we have perceived control, and really what we're doing is balancing fear, which we cannot be in a high state of intense fear at all times, and we must feel like we're a little bit more control. So we try to gain some control or confidence to confront the situations that may have really initially scared us. So we begin to underestimate the actual threat in order to move into situations that we originally
downplay the risk and everybody else is wearing masks, I don't need to really pay attention to that.
So what is it then, and I think a lot of us feel that emotional exhaustion that Rosalind talked about and that you just articulated. What is it that our leaders and our public health officials should be saying about risk in order to make sure that people understand it correctly? The virus is still out there. The risk is still there. So what should they be saying so that we can, at this point in this pandemic, interpret that risk properly?
I think the leaders could be saying a clear message that even though initially you may have felt energized and focused on following pandemic safety behaviors, you may now start to feel tired or see the negative aspects of this and try to stay physically and mentally alert and energetic about following the safety guidelines of particularly wearing a mask, washing your hands, and social distancing.
Andrew, what do you make of this? From your perspective in Toronto, where I am, where we're not moving to phase 2, we're still in phase 1 in this kind of grind. The cases continue to pop up. How much of this is about the kind of messages we're getting from public health officials that people would be willing to take risks that perhaps they wouldn't have taken 2-3 months ago?
Yeah, I think it's really important that we, as a society, understand that risk is not a binary phenomenon, but rather there's a spectrum. And
What do you mean by that?
yeah, so it's not that whether that it's either safe or not safe. It's not that I stay in my house and I don't get COVID, or I leave my house and I will. There are activities that I could undertake when I leave my house that would put me at higher risk or lower risk. Meaning, if I go for a walk by myself, that's a lower risk activity. If I go to my neighbor's house, we have a party indoors without masks, that would be considered much higher risk. And so I think if because of the chronic stress that we've all been experiencing, if the authorities can focus and target messages toward what is the most or the highest risk element, then we can at least pivot away from those activities or those elements of our day that are highest risk. It's like having, all of us can appreciate the fact that we turned off our alarm in the morning and hit the snooze button. But a better design of our day would be that we actually don't need that alarm, but we just use it as a backup so that we never hear it. And rather, we just go to bed earlier, wake up automatically, and then only in the event that we need to do we hear that alarm. And the same should happen with the messaging that we get. Be simple, be clear, and the public health messaging should be that we know that is really a simple message of 6 feet away from people, wear masks, avoid high risk activity.
You're right there on the front lines. Do you worry that people will throw in the towel if that messaging isn't clear and coherent, or that the alarm just keeps sounding over and over again and people say, enough, I'm tired of it, and I'm going to go and go to the park or you have that dinner party?
Yeah, I mean, this is a worry of mine. I mean, I really don't want to see a second wave. I don't want to be working in an emergency department that's overwhelmed. But I'm also reassured by how we've responded over the last several months, and we're seeing the decline. What you have to know is a customized or tailored message to the current situation, because it's not the same as it was 3 months ago. So I'd like to see that happen from the authorities.
Jacqueline, there are in some places people who are overwhelmingly abiding by the guidelines to wear masks and wash their hands frequently. Do you think that it's less likely that we'll backslide, that we really have gotten into the habit of this? That, yes, there are some things to an extreme that we aren't doing as much, but generally we're being more cautious and we're being more aware of the situation that we find ourselves in.
I think people are trying to observe the recommendations as best they can. I think people make relatively different estimates about the effectiveness of these things and also the risk and safety. And potentially understanding that could help you see what other people are doing and choices that they're making. So I do think there are changes overall, but people vary. Some have totally closed home environments to really maintain a low risk of illness, and others have very open home environments with a higher chance of getting an illness. So I think the idea of, I like Andrew's point about, can you take steps to mitigate your risk, of modest isolation, to lower the risk of illness, while resuming some parts of your routine and using all of the protective gears and behaviors that you can to help you so that you get health protections. And I think really a harm reduction approach
is an
Different type of
important,
video.
important message.
Harm reduction, not harm elimination.
Not gonna lie.
Harm reduction. Yeah, I think you can't really eliminate harm, even if you were in a totally closed home environment. At some point you do need to get out. But if you're using masks, gloves, distancing, disinfecting, and deliveries, at some point you may want to try to resume some of your routine.
No idea who you are.
But you reduce some of that optimal safety that you're seeking.
Just finally, Andrew, I just think it's fascinating that you're a human being, you're a doctor, you're a human being, and that you're as susceptible to this as any of us are, even knowing what you know and even working where you work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm certainly no different. I don't wipe groceries down as frequently as I did at the beginning. And so, I recognize that when I reflect on how I behave, though at the time it's quite different, when you sometimes just forget things. So what I try and do is integrate elements in my day so that I have hand sanitizer now in my car all the time, and I have masks in my car, so that it now makes it easier for me to abide or follow what's recommended. If I have to go look for a mask every time I want to wear one, well, I'm unlikely to wear it.
It's great to speak with you both about this. This is, I think, reflective of the situation that so many of us find ourselves in. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much,
so
Matt.
much, Matt.
Dr. Andrew Petrosoniak is an emergency physician in Toronto. Jacqueline Gullen is a psychologist at Northwestern University Medical School. She was in Chicago. Over to you. How are you experiencing the so-called caution fatigue? Do you find that you're letting your guard down? Confession is good for the soul. So let us know what you are or aren't doing and how you are mitigating the risks that you're taking out in public, if you are taking any of those risks. You can reach us on Facebook and Twitter. You can email us, the website, and the email address, thecurrent@cbc.ca, or through the website, cbc.ca/thecurrent. Click on the contact link.
Swedish police have launched their biggest manhunt for the gunman who assassinated the country's prime minister late last night. Mr. Olof Palme was shot in the back